Mm. Okie dokie. All right, let's go. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We will let you in the room when you arrive. If you can have your cameras on, great. If you can't, you can't, right? But you're here, okay? So welcome, right? This is the Reignite, Redesign and Repackage Your Coaching Business for Ultimate Success challenge. Okay, this is a challenge week. For those of you that are new to me, my name is Talene. That's how you say it. Some people are always like, how do I say your name, right? So Talene is how you say it, like Celine, but with a T. Okay, so Talene. I'm Dr. Talene Gordon. I'm located in the UK. I work with practitioners, coaches, and consultants all around the world. And this week, I'm specifically working with you guys. We've had over 300 people register for this, and we're working to help you reignite, redesign, and repackage your coaching business for ultimate soul-aligned success. I would love to know if you could drop in the chat. Whereabouts in the world are you? I'd love to know. I feel like we've got people from all around. So please do put in the chat. It's always great. Okay. But yeah, one of the things, or a few things I want to mention before we dive in, and we've got an hour together each day, okay? But I want to advise you, if possible, to minimize distractions. I know that's not always possible. Okay, you might have children around you, you might be at work listening in, right? Whatever it is, you're here, okay? But if you can minimize distractions, all right, so that you can get the most out of it in terms of what I am sharing. I'm going to be giving a lot of value. I'm not one to gatekeep. I'm going to, I'll share more about that throughout the week, but I'm definitely not one of those coaches that are like, say this, don't say that, do this, don't do that. Okay, I'm going to be giving a lot of value here. Get your workbook ready as well. Thanks, Gail. Oh, you're on it. So get your workbook ready as well. Gail will put a link to the workbook so you can get that. Also, we've got Manchester, London, Portugal. Yay, nice. Alabama, South Wales. Oh, look at this. Awesome, awesome, awesome stuff. Great. We're in the USA, Tiffany. I lived out in the USA a little bit. I've traveled quite a bit around the USA as well. Yeah, I've lived in Barbados as well, guys. Anyone from Barbados here? Or the Caribbean? How cool would that be? Right? So, but yeah, get your workbook ready. Gail will drop a link into the chat there. It's training.drtalene.com/workbook for you to grab your workbook if you haven't got it or you're like, can't find it. Okay, so I want you to have that. Now, a number of other things here is there's some bonuses that you've got access to throughout this week. So one is there's a mindset audio that will come to you via email and maybe even for some of you via text, right? Each day this week. So 5 days of audios. So if you can't see that email, check your spam and see if it dropped in there. You should have got that this morning, all right? Or a few hours ago, depending on your time zone. Yeah. The other bonus that's available is the opportunity to book a 15-minute business audit. These are 15 minutes that, and like I'm really tight on time for it, so that I can offer these. These are one-to-one calls with myself. These are not sales calls. So I know you might have come across coaches in the like past or around that like, yeah, have this free call, but it's not really a free call. It's like them trying to sell to you. These are literally like free value-based calls, 15 minutes. I'm only going to be opening that up till tomorrow's going to be the last time to to book that. So if you do want one, I see some people have booked those already, so that's great. I'm excited to show up, serve you, help you with your business, no matter where you are, guys. Like, don't be afraid to book it if you're very much at the beginning, but equally also if you are, you know, further ahead, definitely going to find it really useful for you. So you can go ahead and take that bonus as well if you would like it. There's no obligations, but it's there if you would like. Okay. Other thing that I would love to encourage is to use the chat throughout the sessions. If there's things that are like light bulb moments, you can put light bulb, right? You could put emojis, or you could write out things that are resonating with you. Again, no obligation, but I think that when you really acknowledge what you're learning or the moments, it's like boom, and it helps other people as well. So feel free to do that too. Okay. So yeah, those are like my little bits of housekeeping that I want to cover before I dive in. I also want to remind you actually that it's 7 days. So I'm going to be doing a training for 7 days, Monday to Friday this week, an hour a day each day, and also Monday and Tuesday next week as well. I want to make sure that you don't leave this time without having your questions answered. So if you have got any questions throughout the week, you can drop them in the chat, and you know, I'm sure Gail will grab them there on the replay page, right? You will be able to submit questions there. You can submit questions in the Facebook group community. So just pour out your questions, and I will do my best to get through all of them on the Tuesday before we end up the week. Okay, so just an encouragement of that as well. All right. And yes, thank you for answering that as well for us in the chat there, Gail. We do have recordings. Every single one of these sessions will be recorded, and we will send the replays out. I know not everybody can attend live every single day because of schedules or commitments and stuff. So we are recording them, and we will send out the replays every single day as well. Okay, so that people that can't be here live can access the replay. However, I do encourage that if you can be here live, to be here live, right? I do encourage that if you can be here live with your videos on, right? Hey, Stu. Hey, Tiffany, right? Yeah, just shouting at a few people, all right? I like to see some faces, so be here, be part of the room, be okay to be visible, all right? And just it improves your focus, you know, like if you can show up in that way. If you can't, you can't, like, don't, you know, beat yourself up about it internally. Just do the best you can. But I do encourage that. All right. And because I encourage that, because I know how learning works, I'm a psychologist by background. And just the more you get out of it is the more you put into it is the more you're going to get out of it, right? Into any kind of learning. And I want you to experience that this week. So I will do a prize draw next week in like Monday's session on participation this week, live participation. You'll get points to put in for the prize draw. We'll also do participation for those as well to get a chance that can't be here live. For those of you that do the task each day, I'm going to set some tasks to help you in your business, right? This is about you and your business and your mission, right? So the tasks I set to help you. And so I encourage you to do them, right? And to share that you've done them in our community as well. So we'll acknowledge for those that do their tasks as well, and we'll acknowledge for those that are able to show up live. Each one of those gives you a point, right? And at the end, we'll do a prize draw of something really juicy, something at least a value of over £1,000, right? So we'll announce that. So that's housekeeping, okay? Grab yourself a drink if you need to quickly, because I'm gonna not stop for too long and dive in. But I'm gonna run through what I'm gonna cover this week, run through who I am. You know, some of you don't know me from anywhere. All right, so I'm gonna run through a little bit of who I am, and then I'm gonna go straight into content. Okay, I don't wanna spend too much time waffling at the beginning. I wanna just get into the juicy stuff and serve you and teach you some stuff, right? So this week, what I'm going to be covering today, I'm going to be talking about the number one shift, your coaching business, right? When I say coaching business, it might be a consulting business, right? But your coaching or consulting business needs to scale with ease and flow. Ease and flow, I don't mean easy or not doing anything. just quick caveat, but I would talk about that, right? What's the number one shift your coaching business needs to scale with ease and flow? Okay. Day 2, I'm going to be talking about pricing with confidence, how you may need to reshift or rejuggle your pricing model and your business model so that you can boost your revenue for ultimate soul aligned and profitable success. Day 3, I'm going to dive into marketing, right? And I'm going to go through what is the 4B marketing framework, and how you can utilize that to unlock next levels of success. Day 4 is about sales, soulful sales, and the 4B sales framework. Day 5 is about action planning and execution. Knowledge alone does not lead to any kind of change, right? So we want you to have a great action plan to know how you're going to take what you learn and move forward with that. Day 6, which is Monday next week, guys. Okay, so there's nothing happening on Saturday or Sunday. Monday next week, we will do the Quantum Leap Financial Planning Business Workshop. And day 7 is the opportunity for Q&A. That is all the questions that submitted and shared throughout the week. We will collate those and I will answer those, all right? And I will do it quickly so I can do it in the hour, okay? And stick to time to honor your time and also my time, all right? So that's just an overview and heads up of what we're covering, okay? So who I am and why am I doing this? Like, why am I actually helping people, not just any people, but people that are skilled and experienced as coaches, consultants, practitioners, helping them set up or scale their own business online, which may have some offline components, right? So you don't have to have your business 100% online, right? You don't have to do that. You can do your business, your rules, okay? I have some in-person elements. I host a retreat every year. I'm seeing some people at retreat in a couple of weeks. I can't believe it, right? It's come around so fast. But I do an annual retreat. So I don't do everything online, but 99% of my work is online, right? And has been for the past 9 years. By background, I'm a psychologist, right? And I didn't wish to go down the traditional private practice route. Not that I'm poo-pooing it or knocking it in any way. That's just not the way I wanted to go, because I didn't want to do one-to-one back-to-back clients. I didn't want to commute to an office somewhere. I wanted to have freedom and flexibility to work from wherever I wanted in the world. Like I've mentioned earlier, I've lived in the USA, I've lived in Barbados, right? I didn't know where my life was going. So I just wanted to set up my business in a way that gave me freedom and flexibility to be able to just move around at will, right? I also come from a health psychology background. And so for me, there was a lot of education around what's required to help people with behavior change. And that model requires community, right? When we really look at it. And so for me, I didn't want to work with people in one-to-one back-to-back way. I wanted to develop something that was much more transformational and stuff. So when I was thinking of all of that and I was deciding to do my business and I was like, what do you really want, right? It was one of the questions my coach posed to me, like, what do you really want to create, right? And I mapped it out. That sat really nicely and neatly and soul aligned under the coaching and consulting umbrella. Okay, so that's how I started out. I didn't want that traditional private practice, not because I hate traditional private practice. It was just not what my life and my vision wanted. Okay. And so I leapt into that world, and I knew I wanted to work holistically with clients, and I knew I wanted as well. I'm going to be open and honest. I knew I wanted to make great money, guys. I knew I wanted to make good money with the skills that I have. I'm educated to doctorate level. Like many of you in this room are highly educated as well. You've poured a lot of time, energy, and financial resource into what you do. I knew I wanted to make great money. And that wasn't just because of the studies that I'd done. I knew that from a very early age, to be honest. You know, I'd seen my family like go through some stuff, right? From not having money or losing money, right? And all sorts of stories and stuff. And those of you who've been around me some time would have heard my story, right? But I knew from a very early age that actually money does help you invest in certain things that you need and pay for certain things. And we just can't pay for our electricity and gas and, with love alone, right? So I knew that I wanted to make money and more than enough to just meet my needs, but to have it overflow. So when I set up my coaching business over 9.5 years ago now, right? It will be 10 years in February 2025. I took my skills as a health psychologist and infused them into the coaching world. Right. And so that's how I started. So from the very beginning, people invested in me per transformation. People were not invested like per session or per hour or anything. They were investing per transformation. I'd set up programs that would take people in. Okay. So that's how it was, right? And the journey though was not just so straightforward, right? Like for any of you, tell me in the chat, guys. Like, I would love to know how many of you are new to coaching or your business, and how many of you have set up already, right? Just put new or set up. I would love to know if you're able to, right? Just drop that in the chat. It just gives me a bit of an idea. But for me, like entering that world, I just started to see some craziness, right? Like some craziness, like high pressure sales techniques, weirdo marketing techniques, false promises and over promises, over delivery, right? It was like great, like weird, right? Ramondo, right? Been 4 years and tired, right? Yeah, okay, love this. Launch this month, set up, right? New. So for those of you that are new, hopefully this week like really like just sets you up on the right path, right? Regardless of what you do after the week finishes. And for those of you that have been going for some time, I really want to help you just reignite the mission that you had when you started and just re-guide you on the path that makes sense for you, your morals, your values, your direction, your mission, your vision. Okay. Because like there was so much craziness going on, right? It's a market that the bar to enter is low. The bar to entry into the coaching world is low, guys, right? You don't need a doctorate, you don't need to do anything, right? You just jump in. Yeah. And that is where the craziness comes from, right? But it doesn't mean that because of that, you should just like exit yourself out of it. I just think like if you are somebody that knows that you are skilled to provide transformation and you are you can help people and you are guided to help people, right? That's what you're here to do. Just separate yourself from the craziness, right? Just position yourself here and like don't follow the masses, right? And the craziness, but just part yourself from it, right? And I'll talk about how to do that because that's important. I noticed that when I really shifted my business model to be like, do you know what? I'm seeing all the craziness. I'm learning. I invested so much over and over again, right? From the best of the best out there, do understanding marketing and sales and all of the things about online coaching and all of that. And I sat down and was like, okay, right, this is what makes sense to me and to my values and to my morals and to what I know about health behavior change and human behavior change, right? And so this is the model of business I'm going to operate. There was like a catapult between where I was to where I went, right? My revenue multiplied by 6x, right? 6x. Yeah. And I was able to really just move myself from being that struggling coach, consultant, like just, I say struggling, like in the sense like certain elements weren't like there was always like money and clients coming in, but it just wasn't like where I knew I needed to be and wanted to be. Yeah. And so I moved from having like a 5-figure business, right? A 5-figure a year business to having my first 6-figure a year business and continue to do that year in, year out with at scale with 48% minimum profit margin. And I take 12 weeks off a year, right? And I'm nourished, guys, right? Okay. So I just want to say that a lot of that came by just, standing in truth, right? and some other things, and I'll explain that over the week. But I just think it's important for you to understand who am I, who's this person talking to you. That's my journey. That's who I am. And I didn't start out teaching business either, right? I didn't start out teaching business. Like I said, I took my health psychology skills and I created coaching transformational packages to help people with health behavior change, right, to optimize their success. And I've been teaching about business only for the past few years, right? So, and where did that come from, this desire to teach about business? Because Lord knows this was not my desire at the start, or even when the idea came to me, right? The idea to teach about business, I really see like it, only God, yeah, right? Like called forward and was like, there are people that need your help. And by people, initially who I saw that needed my help was other psychologists, right? There was like other psychologists and then practitioners, health and well-being practitioners that started being like, how do you set up online, right? Like this is way before COVID, guys, like pre-COVID, right? How do you set up online? How do we do this? How do we have a brand that can have like beautiful, vibrant colors and just be ourselves? How do we shift out of the pricing per session model, pricing per hour model, and do pricing per transformation? There was lots of questions from other psychologists, right? And so this is what started to show as a sign. It started to trickle in as one person, two person, three person, people coming through, right? And then it was just this blow up of like a group of thousands of psychologists in the UK were like, have you seen Dr. Talib? Wow. Who is she? Is she real? Yes, I am on the register. I'm there, right? You know, and like, how does she do this? And we're starting asking for my help. And I was like, whoa, right? Like, okay, like, is this where I'm going next? Like, is this what you want me to do, dear God? I am a woman of faith, right? And I'm not ashamed to say that. Okay. And I work with people of all different faiths and all different backgrounds, but that's my viewpoint. And it was like a real clear understanding that this is what needs to happen, right? And then it wasn't just other psychologists, it was other practitioners. And then it wasn't just practitioners from the UK, it was practitioners from America, New Zealand, Africa, Europe, like all around, saying, show us the way, right? And so that's how I started on the path of business coaching for practitioners, coaches, and consultants to do soul aligned and profitable success. That's how the Soul Success Business Academy, which I run, is a year-long academy. I'll go through all of those information a bit later on this week, but that's how that was born, right? I didn't show up being like, hey, I'm starting business. Like that's not who I was or how I came about in the online coaching world. Okay, and I think that's important as well, because I know post-COVID, there's a lot of people that have kind of shown up in that way. So I think it's important for you to know who you're talking to and where they're from, right? This week, I want you to gain so much value, like knowledge, right? I want you to be able to execute and start executing some things. I want you to gain so much value that you're like, this is even worth more than what I would have paid for, or what I paid someone else for, maybe, right? Yeah, and I'm going to be delivering. I say that for you to understand that this is not just me just talking and storytelling throughout the time, the 7 hours we've got together, but I'm going to be developing and delivering value for you. Okay, so you might be, some of you, all right, thank you for putting that in the chat. Okay, right. Awesome. I love that you're looking forward to this. Miranda, brilliant. Miranda, yes, you will. It will be worth it. Okay, guys. So some of you, like you mentioned in the chat, are new. Some of you have been on this path for some time and are feeling a bit disconnected, lost, stressed out, whatever it is. Yeah. Now, whether you are that person that is new, but you know that I am called to help people in a really like transformative way and heal and help and coach, right? Or consult, you are going to get value from this. And I want you to really like listen with beginner's ears, right? Because you might be new, but there may be like, and there possibly is a story behind you, right? That may bring in like thoughts of like, oh, but that's different to what I've done as a psychologist traditionally, or that's different to what I've done as a whatever traditionally, or whatever that might be. So beginner's ears, okay, is important. Some of you have been going at this for some time, especially for you guys, beginner's ears, right? Like allow yourself to take in the nuggets. Don't allow yourself to tune out because you're like, oh, she said something that I know already, right? There's going to be things that I say that you don't know already, or you're not, you know, but you're not executing and doing. Okay. So I just encourage everybody to just come with a fresh mind and fresh perspective as I go through this week. Okay. I'm a new person. All right. Let go of past experiences, past people, past history, past whatever, and choose to just allow this to be a fresh week for you. Yeah. So that's what I'm going to say. All right. Let me dive into day one content. All right. So, number one shift, your coaching business needs to require it to move forward with ease and flow is a shift around your approach to marketing and sales. Right? It's highly likely it's going to be a shift to your approach around marketing and sales. Yeah. Now, here's why I'm saying that, right? Most people go forward with their business and lack clarity and direction. They have no idea on the value of talking specifically to certain audience or about a certain thing, right? And so they are generalizing, like they're just like, I'm called to help, I'm called to heal, I'm called to coach, right? And they just want to serve and help everybody, as many people as possible. And they have that kind of, I want to cast the net wide as possible, and hopefully that will catch who needs me, right? Because the right people for me will find me, and whoever those people are, they will be there, right? And I just want to say that change happens in the specifics, right? When you speak specifically to an audience, they understand that you're speaking to them. Or when you speak specifically about something, there's a connection there, right? So often people speak in generalizations when they are therefore marketing themselves, right? So they are like, you know, I want to help people heal. I want you to become pain-free, right? I want you to thrive. I want you to be happy, joyful. And what these things mean to specific people mean different things, right? Even as we start to narrow in, they still mean different things, but at least I can become a bit more focused to it. Yeah. And so when you can start talking the language of your mission, and I'm going to talk about mission shortly, but like who you're here to help and how you're here to help them, right? When you can start talking the language that your people are using in their life, right? There becomes a connection. Okay. So I really hope this is making sense, because especially when I think of practitioners, a lot of practitioners, if you pull up any practitioner, you could just go online and pull up like therapist near me or whatever, right? And you see their website, there will be so much generalization of like, I can help you with like divorce, anxiety, sexual intimacy, OCD, this, that, the next. Now I'm there like, okay, I know I want help, right? Maybe I kind of like you because you kind of help people with everything and anything. But if I go to somebody that was specific, like I specifically serve and help people with going through challenging relationships and their relationships breaking down and right? I'm there like, okay, this is my person. This is my person is like this person is talking about relationships and relationships breaking down, right? And they're using language that speaks specifically to me, right? In terms of like, have you been going so long in your relationship that you're wondering whether you can even find that spark again, right? They're using language that connects as opposed to using generalizations as to I can help everybody on everything, right? And so when it comes to marketing and having ease and flow, and by ease and flow, guys, I really want to have like, I know there's a lot of talk out there about like, just meditate and pray and all will be good, right? And I meditate and I do pray, right? Yeah. But it's action is required, okay? And so ease and flow does not necessarily always mean easy. Actually, the path is going to have some, challenges and resistance and new learning along it. But it means that there's like you see growth. You see like it's not like an uphill like bull. You're trying to push up the hill that kind of keeps rolling back on you and feeling like you're getting flattened, right? So when you can stand out there and you are clearer in the language that you use, and you use language that is more specific to the people that you want to help, there becomes connection, there becomes synergy. You start to position yourself more as the expert as well. And so then your qualifications, whatever those you have, become the cherry on top. Right. And so what sometimes people are doing is they lead in with their qualifications. They lead in with like, oh, I'm Dr. So-and-so, and I'm psychologist, and I'm this, and I'm that. And did you know I've got ACT, acceptance and commitment therapy under my belt, and I've done CBT certificate, and I've done this, and I'm doing this now, and I'm doing that, and I'm getting another education certificate, right? I've got all of these credentials. Yeah. And they're leading with their credentials, or they're wanting to lean on their credentials is the thing that's going to separate from the masses. But actually, like the person and the people that need the help, right? They just know I'm struggling in my relationship. And I want somebody that understands struggles in relationships that can help me with my relationship, right? And so that when they hear that language being used and connected, that's the first connection, and the qualifications become the cherry on top. It's like, oh, and they're da da da, and they're this, right? And they're that. Cool. This is definitely like who I want to invest in, who I want to support me with what I'm doing, right? So language matters. Yeah. The other thing is that often the approach to marketing that has been built, marketing and sales, right, is that marketing is just doing all the things, just wake up and like just show up here, like let's blog and let's post 5 times a day, and let's do some videos, and oh, there's something called TikTok, maybe I should learn to dance, or like point and say like follow me here, right? And like marketing becomes all this stuff, right, that you're doing, and then what's SEO, and I've got just some SEO and all this stuff, right? And so marketing becomes doing all the things when actually marketing is about strategy, right? It's about having a strategy. It's about bringing the right things, not all the things, the right things into a strategy that takes people on a journey, right? On a journey of finding you. You'll hear me talking about this a lot this week, of you being findable, them finding you, of them building relationship, and then you'll see the revenue boost, right? You'll see them come in as clients through having a strategic approach, not a hope and pray, let's wish and show up, and maybe one day it will all be okay, right? Like, so there has to be a shift in your understanding of this business that you're creating, right? And I say that because some people come across me, they have another business or a different type of business, and every business is different. I'm talking about a coaching business. Yeah. You have to really hone in like your strategy, and it doesn't have to be a complex strategy, right? It gets to be a really simple strategy, right? But there needs to be strategy around it. Yeah. The other thing is as well, when it comes to sales, and I'm going to talk about this on day 4, is about a serving mentality, right? For me, it's like when you are showing up in your business in marketing and sales, it's about service, right? It's about leading with us. I'm very big on like servant leadership, on like pouring out and serving the people, right? And if you pour out and serve the right people, right, because you've been clear on your language and you've been clear on your mission, so therefore you're clear on your marketing, and therefore when you're serving, you can just pour out. So I'm pouring out. I'm going to pour out to you guys for 7 hours over the next week, right? I could just serve and serve, and the selling will just happen with those that are meant to be served on the next level of the journey, right? On that next layer of the journey, for that's those that is right at that time, right? Because it's all about as well readiness to change. When we think about behavior change, there's a readiness to change cycle that people go through, right? Some of you are new and you may still be in the exploration stage of like, I'm just exploring, like, is this going to be right for me? Is this where I want to go next? Is this what I want to do? That's up here on the wheel of change, right? Then you'll start shifting down and you'll start recognizing that this is it. This is where I want to go. This is what I want to do in my life. This aligns with my vision. This aligns with what I want, right? Then you'll start moving around and you'll start preparing for that change. And some of you will be in this room that are prepared for that change. Like, you're preparing for that change. Like, I am not leaving 2024 and things are not different, right? I've been thinking of this business vision for years, or I've been working on it in the ways that just don't align anymore for ages, and I'm ready to change. And so you're in a preparation stage. And in that preparation, you're working out what's right for you to take action, right? And so when I present the Business Academy, right, it will just meet the right people at the right time of those on that readiness space. And you need to be able to see that when you present your offers and sell in that way, that there's going to be a readiness to change cycle, that because somebody says no, it doesn't mean that, oh my God, this is not the path I'm meant to be on. It might just be that they're just newly thinking about what you help people with, and they're just not in that readiness to change cycle, right? And so once you understand all of this, you can now start to look at your business in a different way, and you can start also understanding data within your business as well, which helps you make some decisions in your business, right? So it's very, very important. And then the other thing I want to say about this as well is that if you have 1 hour a day to work on your business, most people are working on the wrong things, right? They're working on things that don't move the needle when it comes to making more impact, signing up clients, and generating revenue, right? They're rewriting their website. They're, making some TikTok videos and hope that they're going to go somewhere, right? Like, I want to go viral, right? And like, just so you think you are working on your business, right? This is what happens. Like, you are working on you're working on your vision, you're working on your business, or you've got the notepads, like you're writing your notes, you're doing that, you're choosing your brand colors again, or maybe you're getting a new photo shoot or whatever, right? You're doing all these things. And so you're presenting yourself like, I'm taking action. I'm an action taker. This is brilliant, right? But when we look at the results, there's not it's not moving, right? And so what you're focusing on are things that are not moving the needle, that you need to move the needle on, right? Because you're not in business until you're revenue producing, until you're making impact, until you're changing lives in that way. Okay, so that's what I would say as well. All right. Now, helpful? Let me know in the chat if this is helping you so far. Okay. So, very important of what's next, right? Is brilliant. Thank you, Miranda. Okay. All right. Really important is to recognize that certain things need to gonna happen as you move forward your business so that it can scale with ease and flow. Ease and flow, another word I might want to put in there, aligned, right? If ease and flow trips you up and you think I'm saying easy and just manifestation of that way, right? Manifestation requires action. Okay. So soul aligned actions, soul aligned approaches. Brilliant. Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad. Okay. Awesome. So here's what needs to happen. Number one, and I want each of you to be able to complete day one knowing what this is for you right now, is to be magnetic and know your mission. Know your mission, right? What's a mission? What do I mean by that, right? I mean, like, who are you here to help? And with what problem to achieve what outcome, right? And if you've been in that space where I was saying earlier, you might have been like, I just want to help everybody, right? This can become challenging. It's like, okay, I'm here to help specific audience with specific problem to achieve desired outcome, right? I'm not putting on any, and I don't want you to put on any, like, within like 5 days or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Like, like I'm going to teach you and pour out on you lots about business in 7 days, but you're not going to build a business in 7 days. Okay. Right. So, like, I want you to just think about your mission around what that is. Like, who am I here to help and how am I here to help them? Right? How am I meant to show up in the world? Let me give you some questions that might help you think this through, right? So you could think about if you were invited to do a TED talk, what would you show up and talk about? Right? If you was going to go on TEDx, what would you want to go on a TEDx and say? Right? Or if Oprah was to call you, Oprah's people was to call you, right? And be like, do you know what? We're getting ready to do the next round of Super Soul Sunday. We want you there. What are you going to come on and talk about? Right? That can give you some ideas in terms of, like, I just love, like, this area. Like, I could just talk on this all day long, right? Or I just feel passionate about this, or I want to create a movement around this, or like things need to change in this area, right? Like that could give you some food for thought about what the area is you want to start with. I'm not saying you'd have to stay there, right? But like, where is it right now? Like, like this is, I want to learn how to build a business or learn how to scale my business because this needs to be heard, right? This needs to be heard. This needs to be out there. People need to be changing their lives in this way, right? It might be inspired by your own journey. It's like, I really do believe your own life journey is leading you somewhere special. So you might think back on your timeline and be like, wow, like I've really like shifted or made some major shifts through this area of my life that I want to really help people with this. It may be related to what you do in current work or previous work, but it doesn't have to be, right? An example of this is like, one of the students of the academy, an educational psychologist by background, was very much like, I guess I should do something related around education. And like, that's how she's saying it. Right? Like, so, when I was like, is that really what you want to do? No, that's not what I want to do, right? It's like, I want to help people in this way and that way, right? But because her path kind of dictated, like, educational psychologist, I've done this around educational psychology. It was like, well, maybe that should be the next logical step. But it's like, well, where's God calling you, right? What's that look like? And that may feel like I'm not equipped to do this right now, because then those feelings can come up in people of like, can I really help people with that? And so then you got to tune back in and be like, can I, right? And answer that question. What are the transferable skills, or where are you on your journey, or what does that look like to put me in the position to be able to help people with that? So you know, and I'll share a personal story. Like I remember very like clearly when like I had that clear, like this is who you need to be helping and how you need to help them. You want to go out there and you've got to start helping these practitioners. They are clearly coming to you to lead left, right, and center saying, help me, help me, help me. And my internal response was like, when I'm like a gajillionaire, right, I'll start helping them, right? Like when like I'm not enough for them, right? Like, so that was my internal, and it was like, no, we're not going to continue. I'm going to continue showing you these people that need your help, and you need to step up and start helping them now, right? And so like you got to tune in and be able to separate like what is like the noise around you having that clear mission and direction to help people and become clear and know your mission and speak your mission clearly, right? Like I'm here to help, right? These people, right? Could be, when I say these people, it could be a particular audience in terms of people with a particular condition or particular challenge or whatever it might be, right? Like with this outcome, and just start, because clarity comes through action. So your mission statement is going to evolve as you start taking action, right? So don't feel like you have to get this like perfect today, right? You just have to get this enough today so that you can start taking action and go out there and say it. And the first place I want you to take action is in a safe space and safe community like this. And to go into, I'm going to encourage you to go into the community group, right? The Abundant Practitioner, and jump in there and share your mission, either in written form, or you can do a video if you want to, or whatever, right? But just share your mission. One, that's going to be you putting yourself out there and showing up, right? Putting yourself visible. You can't be in business in secret. So let's just clear that up. All right. So get visible and get visible with us. All right. So you can tick that of I'm okay to get visible, and I'm going to do it scared. I'm going to just do it. All right. Just get visible. I always say to people, if you just rewind and see like my very first video that I ever done in my business, I was like, hi, I'm Dr. Talene Gordon. I was like so nervous and so like, way back 10 years ago. Yeah. So just do it however you are today, right? You can only be who you are today, but who you are today will grow, right? It will be different when you do it again in a month's time, when you do it again in 12 months' time, imagine, right? But you've got to start somewhere. So stay your mission and be visible with your mission, right? And infuse it with why. Tell us why. Like, why does it matter to you? Why does it matter to you? It mattered for me to go out there because I knew the craziness that was out there. And it was like more and more like, if you just don't go out and talk about the truth, right? The truth of business, the truth of being able to show up soul aligned, the truth about being able to be yourself in business, in this coaching world, that is a low bar to get in, right? But there are people that want to get in here that can do some fabulous, amazing stuff. And yet there's people out there that just gatekeeping. They're not telling you information. They're not giving you what they need to know, because it's like they've been trained to say this and do that. Yeah, there is. And Gail, if you could put the link for the Facebook group, please, that would be helpful. Right? And so there's lots of people that can do amazing things, but they're bucking up on these gurus that are like, do this, don't say that. Say this, don't do that. And like they're now becoming all sorts of feelings around their business and showing up in weird ways or doing things in crazy ways that is not helpful. And so they're not getting the results. So it became really passionate for me to really like speak up, talk up, right? If you think about mission, why I say mission statement or movement, right? If you think about movement or mission, and you think about, you think about some world leaders that really had to speak up, right? Yeah, people that spoke up with what they had to say, right? Malcolm X, right? You think about, and people that just had to speak up and say things, right? Think about Bob Marley and his songs and stuff. You know what I mean? Like, they just had to say things on what they need to do, right? So this is what you've got to feel about what you're here for. You've got to have that, right? So that's number one thing. Like, if you could have that and keep that at the forefront and center of your efforts, you will make moves. right? But you got to have that. Okay, so start by creating that. It doesn't have to be perfect. You start today. Get it done today. Just write whatever you can today. Share it. Put it out there and know that as you take action, you will gain more clarity. As you start to speak to more people, build your business, scale your business, you will get more clarity. You'll be like, oh my God, my mission's evolved. My mission's more clearer. Oh my God, my mission's this, right? You'll get excited. You'll just be infused by your mission, right? So really important. Number two, right? Understand the principles to business. Yeah. Now, be findable. And you've got to apply them. So not just understand, apply them, right? Execute them. Be findable, right? Connections, be findable, be findable. If you speak your mission, look, imagine some of you might speak your mission into the group today, and somebody's in that group, and they're like, I need help with that in my life right now. And they've like just sent you a message, and like, I just saw your mission in Dr. Talena's group. That is what I need help for in my life. Tell me, how can you help me? Right? Like, but from you just being like findable, like just showing up. Yeah. You cannot be in business in secret. So whatever thoughts that are telling you, like, I don't know how to show up. I don't know what to say. I don't know. Like, you know your mission as it stands today. Use that. Use what you got and just show up anyway. And be okay to get better. You can only get better by doing the things. You know, I've got two children. I've got a 5-year-old and I've got a 15-month-old now, little Zacchio. And, you know, he's running about now. He's all mastered the whole walking thing. But I remember when he started very early. He was stumbling everywhere and like, oh, can I do this? You know, like, it's okay. We all learn. Like, that's the nature of learning anything and getting better at anything. So just show up in the beautiful way that you are today. Okay. All right. So that's what I would say about that. So number two, I was going back to the principles of business. So connection, be findable. Yeah. Get visible, right? Make connections. When you know your mission, I'm here to help these people with this problem. When you say, I'm here to help these people, where are these people? I'm here to help parents. Where do parents go? Right? I drop my son to school. I take them. Even if I was home educating, right? I would be taking them places, right? So you can ask yourself that question: where are my people, right? I'm here to help Christian leaders. Where are Christian leaders, right? Leadership conferences for Christians, right? Or churches, right? Now you can start to think about where are my people. So the mission will help all the other things in your business, starting with connection, right? I call it be findable, right? Be findable. Go and see your people, right? Go and find your people, right? And when you find them, build relationships with them. Build relationships with them, yeah? Have conversations with them. You can build relationships with conversations. Give a value for them. Educate them, right? Help them. Help people by actually helping people. Yeah, that's number two, right? And then that will lead to when you share with somebody that is your person or are your people that you have built relationship with through education or through conversations. And you're like, do you know what? If you're at this stage of readiness and you want help with that, I can help you. And here's how, here's my offer. You boost revenue. 3 steps to business, right? Be findable, build relationships, boost revenue. Let's add in a fourth one is be magnetic. So be magnetic with your mission, right? Be findable, build relationships, boost revenue. Then you can ask yourself some great questions. I love questions, right? Ask yourself the right questions. You'll find yourself move forward in the right direction. So you can ask yourself great questions like, how many new people found me or did I find this week, right? If you're going through your business each week or each month going 0, 0, 0, something's got to change, right? Yeah. You can ask yourself, how many new people did I build relationships with this week? Right? Or this month or this quarter or this year, right? You can ask yourself questions around how many new clients did I make an offer to? How many new clients did I sign up this week, right? You can ask these questions, which gives you a snapshot of how your business is performing. Very important. Yeah. So other things, right? I mean, There's so much I can cover. Okay, I've got 6 minutes. Right, let's run to it. All right. So I said that measure your progress so you can move forward with data, not drama. When you ask yourself questions, you give yourselves answers, right? Which are specific answers. Then sometimes what happens is people catastrophize these answers with some drama. So they add on like thoughts, feelings, expectations, and all of that in terms of like when I just said those questions of like, how many new people did you find? You know, have you connected with, right? Or this week. And the answer might be zero, right? You can answer yourself these questions now, guys, right? What's the answer to that? Or how many new people did I speak to this week? Or how many new clients have I signed up this week? When the answer is zero, that just gives you a snapshot, right? But then what happens is then people start to lean into this drama phase of like, oh my God, that means I was no good at this, or I've been trying for ages, right? As opposed to like CEO mindset of like, okay, well, what needs to happen differently next week so that it's not 000, right? Or what needs to happen differently next month? Or what would I be working on the next quarter so that my results change, right? So again, once you understand and shift your approach to marketing and sales, your business will shift its approach in how it's performing, right? Then the other thing is that marketing and sales is a requirement. You know, I know some people have some beliefs and attitudes and feelings about marketing and sales and what that means. And I just think is once you just know that for me, marketing and sales, all it is about just being mission led, is understanding my mission. What has God placed me here to do right now in my life, right? To just show up on mission, right? Show up on purpose for a purpose over and over again, right? Show up on purpose for a purpose over and over again. That's it. That's what I mean by marketing and sales, right? I don't mean like anything else that you might have heard. Yeah. But that's a requirement in your business. Yeah. To show up on purpose with a purpose over and over again. Right. Important. Right. The other thing is, I spoke about it before, is language. Okay. So check your language, make sure it's about them and not you, right? People that you're helping and not you, right? Your skills, credentials, and all of that stuff as well. Okay. You are welcome. Awesome. And implement a power hour. I mentioned it a little bit before. If you had 1 hour a day in your business, what would you focus on? Show up on purpose with a purpose, right? Over and over again. Okay. Now you want to be strategic around it and all of that. And I'll go through that in marketing later on this week. Okay. Because if you just show up, post into maybe your 10 followers, or maybe it's 100, or maybe it's 1,000 or whatever, right? It's not necessarily going to move the needle. Okay. So you've got to streamline what you're doing and why you're doing it and how you're doing it, right? But it's important to do that. And it's important as well to build out, okay, and I'm going to touch on this as much as I can on day 4 and probably as well day 5 as well, is scalable systems and automations. Systems and automations, right? Like even this event, guys, I'm not here like manually sending emails, like it's all done, automated. Right? I finish here, I go have lunch, right? I'm going to see, we do Money Making Monday in the Academy at 2 o'clock. I'll show up for my clients there and then I'll be with my boys, right? I know some of you have got audits actually later, so I'll do a couple of audits, yeah? And then I'll have family time, right? I'm not this evening like writing out emails, oh my God, like let's send the replay, come on quickly, you know, like what about tomorrow? It's all automated, so automations and systems as well, okay? To work for you in your life, right? So you can have a life, yeah? And do more than that, right? To have a real full life, okay? So if you had an hour, what would you use your hour for? Show up on purpose with a purpose, right? Over and over again. And recognize that you are your brand, right? That your brand is really, branding is about language. That's the most important part about that. Branding is your language. Nobody's invested in my business academy because of the thousands I spent in my logo. I would like to tell myself that it is. Right? I could tell you the whole story of my logo. Maybe I will, just to fulfill my own need at one day, right? But like nobody's invested in it because of my logo, guys, right? So please, you know, if you're going to use your hours for your logo and your colors and your photo shoots, right? It's not the most productive hours that you'll be using, okay? So You are your brand, and your language is the most important part of that. If you showing up, okay? Your offer is also your brand, your price points of your brand, all of those things come into branding. It's not just about logo, colors, photos, and all of that stuff. So, have I done it? 1 minute to go. That's everything I wanted to cover, guys, right? So tomorrow I'm going to be diving into redesigning your business model or designing your business model so it makes financial sense. Yeah. Wednesday, Thursday, I'm going to be breaking down marketing and sales in more detail. I know I've started on that today because it is the number one important element of your business that needs to change or that you need attention on if you're going to really go for it over the next 12 months, right? Friday, remember, is about action planning. I think I'm going to insert as well on that day systems as well and automations. I feel like that would be helpful for you guys. And then next week, we're going to do some financial planning and Q&A as well, okay? There are going to be replays. Great question, all right? If you are showing up live on any of these days, we are noting it. We are taking note of you. All right, yeah. Ramondo, Stu, Tiffany, Anika, we got you, right? All of the others that are here live, we are seeing you here live, okay? And we are noticing that. I am doing a really cool prize draw next week for those of you signing up live, right? Because I just know what to take something in live is just something about it. But I also know that your schedules don't mean that you can show up every day of the week live, and that's okay, right? Watch those replays and keep up, yeah? Like if you're watching replays, keep up. The replays are going to be available to watch, but they're only going to be available for some time. They're not going to be available forever, right? And also, I just don't want you to miss out. I don't want you to miss out on the breakthrough that is available for you and the learnings and the everything that is for you. So keep up even if you're on the replays. I would highly recommend you do the tasks and be okay to be visible. You cannot be in business in secret. Thank you. Awesome. Love that. Love that. Gail can drop the Facebook group link as well for anyone else that needs to jump in there. And just be visible and show up, right? Show your task. And we are also watching, right? And seeing, you know, not to scrutinize. Like when people say watching, right? It's just to see you being visible. I want you to be visible, to show up, to shine, to share your essence. Yes. All right. So show up and shine, share your essence in that group as well. We're going to be noticing, and we're going to also put you down for the prize draw as well for those that you are showing up doing your tasks. Right now, I have been offering a bonus for a business audit. These are 15-minute tight 15 minutes, like in, out, on time. Yeah. So show up on time if you're booking them. If you show up late, we can do it. But if you've got 5 minutes, you've got 5 minutes, right? If you've got 10 minutes, you've got 10 minutes because they're like back to back in terms of the slots. They are available. They will only be available for tomorrow, right? Tomorrow is going to be the last tight day. I'm going to say book your audit, right? So if you want one, you can go ahead and book it. These are not sales calls. I have no desire to just pull any and anybody on a sales call. I don't need to do that. My business is not set up in that way. I'm here to help. Right. So if you would like that helpful 1-to-1 15-minute call, you can go ahead and book that. And I'm happy and excited to speak to you and meet you. Okay. So that's it for day one. Went a little bit over, but I just wanted to kind of encourage you to do the things that are going to help you. All right. So I'll see you again tomorrow. I hope you've enjoyed. All right. See you tomorrow, guys. Take care. Have a great day.